Kassius Ohno is celebrating 20 years in the wrestling business this weekend. He had a match with Adam Cole at the NXT Live event in Orlando on Friday night. He beat Cole by DQ in the main event when the Undisputed Era ran into attack. All of a sudden, the lights went out and they played Cesaro's entrance music to a huge pop. He and Ohno cleared the ring together and they celebrated to very loud chants of Kings of Wrestling. When I first started going to Ring of Honor shows 12 years ago, Ohno was still technically a CZW guy, and they were doing the ROH versus CZW interpromotional war deal. So he was the outsider, he was considered to be. And that's when he and Cesaro, this was back in his Claudio days, first got together. Claudio turned on Ring of Honor and he aligned with Chris Hero, and they formed the Kings of Wrestling. And they and Larry Sweeney together were a great act. And I was there the night they won the ROH tag team titles for their one and only time. They beat Roderick Strong and Austin Aries at Glory by Honor 5 Night 2, which is still one of the best shows I've ever attended live. Maybe the best, honestly. Capped off by Bruno Sammartino getting in the ring and giving this great rousing speech with the entire roster surrounding the ring. It was just this great moment. Anyway, I dug up some old photos I had snapped of the two of them from that night. I put them on my Twitter page if you want to see them. What might have been for Kassius Ohno had CM Punk gotten his way. He would have been the third member of The Shield when they debuted back in 2012. It would have been him, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose, and not Roman Reigns. Now, for the record, I think the WWE made the right choice. I don't think it would have worked as well with Hero being in that role. They needed an enforcer type, and Kassius Ohno was not that guy. I mean, he's bigger now even than he was then. Then he was still kind of lanky, and it just wouldn't have worked. Roman Reigns, he looked the part, and I think working with Rollins and Ambrose and all those six-man tags for all of 2013 did wonders for the guy. Even if you're not a Roman Reigns fan, if you don't think he's that good, well, he's a hell of a lot better than he would have been had he not worked all those matches, I think, alongside those guys for so long. So it was a smart move on their part, but for Hero, it could have been a life changer. Had he been picked for that role instead of Roman Reigns, it could have changed his entire career. It could have changed his life. As it was, he left NXT, became a sensation again on the indie scene, and then came back to NXT, and he's been a good utility player for them, but he's not really been featured in any sort of prominent role. And in fact, they've incorporated that now into his current storyline, with him being very upset. William Regal tends to only use him as sort of a starter in a way, for all the new guys to come in and get in the ring with. It's believable that he would feel that way and be upset about that because it's true. That's exactly how they've been utilizing him. But one day, when Sheamus and Cesaro go the way of the dodo and the bar is no more, I would be down for a Kassius Ohno call-up to reform the Kings of Wrestling. I've all but given up on this idea that they're ever going to push Cesaro as any sort of serious, singles threat. He had the tag team with Jack Swagger. That got over. The team with Sheamus, they've done well together. And he could do it again someday with Ohno. That's assuming that he ever gets called up. And I'm not sure that he will. I wonder, and I don't know what his thoughts are on this. Maybe he's perfectly content to be where he is, but I'm sure if he got the call one day saying, hey, we want you on Raw, I don't know. I tend to think he wouldn't say no to that. But I wonder if they see him as having more value in NXT. Maybe as like a player coach type, which I think he sort of is already. And that may just be the role for him going forward.